Ring the bell.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Slam Society, and welcome to my review show here of TNA Under Siege from May 4th, 2024, from the Albany Armory in Albany, New York. This one's a little bit late. I do apologize. It's actually 1:45 in the morning whilst I review this because I've been a little under the weather. As you can see, I'm wearing a nice big jumper that I bought. And it's quite warm in this jumper, but it's cold here in Perth, Western Australia, believe it or not. Anyway, let's crack on with the show, shall we? We opened up the show here, and oh, by the way, I did not watch the countdown to Under Siege. Not this time. I did not feel like it was worth it for me this time. Anywho, let's just get on with the main pay-per-view here. Tag team match opened the show. Frankie Kazarian with Steve Macklin taking on Eric Young and Josh Alexander. I thought that this should be a good opener to the pay-per-view. I was not wrong. This was a hot opener. Let's just say that. The feud between Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian continues to rage on, which has led Steve Macklin and Kazarian to join forces and Josh to reunite with Eric after they had been doing some tag team work late last year with one another. Not really a whole lot to say about this other than they were given time here. They were given time to go all out for this match. And, you know, it's something that is very prevalent in a lot of Josh Alexander matches. He goes balls to the wall every time. The smoke cleared after some time here. Eric Young managed to pile drive Frankie Kazarian to win the match. I expect them to probably go one more pay-per-view for that Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian feud. I don't know how they're going to finish it. And I expect maybe Josh and Steve Macklin to reconvene. So, yeah, let's move forward. Good start to the show. They read down the card, and it looks like there's been some changes, which is a little disappointed. It didn't help my enthusiasm. I was a bit disappointed AJ Francis wasn't booked against Joe Hendry, or Hammerstone was not on the card. I guess he was injured. And of course, I would have liked if Zia Brookside was on the show for very selfish reasons. Singles match fired up next here. Havoc with Rosemary taking on Ash by Elegance with George Iceman at ringside. I find him very annoying. Maybe he's working me, bro. I just want to see somebody nail him. Havoc really took it to Ash and dominated her with her power to open the matchup here. Ash tried to use her quickness to evade Havoc, but Havoc will catch her in midair and ragdoll her around in a full Nelson. Again, more dominance from Havoc here. The concierge got involved and flicked holy water at Havoc, and then Rosemary stalked George, and then she grabbed the holy water off him and poured it in her mouth and then spat out blood, which was a very cool little spot, I must say, that got a bit of a pop from the audience. I've enjoyed the Ash by Elegance gimmick and character so far, especially the portrayal of the character. Will say this time though, just being honest, I thought she was a little bit cheesy and hokey through this, especially with some of the things that she was saying out loud. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I was just in a mood or something. But I could see she's trying and she's doing a good job, but just a little bit cheesy at times with some of the things she says out loud. She got a surprise win with a roll-up after George and Rosemary had disappeared. And then she choked Havoc out with a garlic necklace after the match and then went to grab a chair. And by that point, that referee, she's got dark hair. She's quite attractive. She went to the outside of the ring and she's waving off Ash at ringside. And I'm like, why do referees do this waving off thing like from 10, 15 meters away? They always do this. I know that this is probably what they're being told to do, but geez, you know, this is an assault taking place on somebody who have no security. This is what's funny about wrestling, right? So she grabs a chair hits a swanton on the chair on Havoc, and then afterward, this is the one. This is the thing that annoyed me the most is when Ash went ha ha at Havoc, and I was like, oh my god, bro, no. um, I just thought she was laying on a little bit too thick with some of the verbiage. Anyway, then a DDT on the entrance ramp finally ended the segment. She's showing, excuse me, a more aggressive side of herself. So that's cool. Okay, no problem. Let's start to get her built up now towards Jordan Grace. I think that's what we've been alluding to for some time now, right? Coming up next, Speedball Mountain. Sorry, yes, with Matt Hardy doing an interview with Hubba Giamilla. And just a bunch of funny nonsense here, really. And I am sure Matt Hardy is hoping with this run, it's possible he might be able to get himself to be a bit more relevant again. I am seeing a thread, not a thread. I'm seeing a trend, that's the word, a trend of wrestling fans out there right now who probably loved Matt Hardy back in the day, probably loved Chris Jericho back in the day, probably loved a lot of these guys back in the day, but for whatever reason, a lot of fans out there have already made their mind up about them that they don't really want to see them anymore. So they then use that feeling to say mean things on the internet. Look, Matt Hardy's 49 years old. He's obviously never going to be the Matt Hardy he once was, but he has the right to make a living. He has a right to do what it is that he loves to do. If he's not as good as he once was, that's a given. Um, I think people needed to start to, take it easy with the older boys, okay? They are here because they know that they need to do the right thing, and that's put over younger talent, right? Jericho beating Hook, that got people very mad. But the thing is, it's going to lead to Hook beating him. It's going to be a story that means something by the end of it. Same thing here with Matt. Matt came here and he's on this pay-per-view, hoping maybe his name value might help out, being broken Matt Hardy again. Give him a chance, you know? I saw some very negative comments, which I'll get to later when I do my responses to some tweets. Anyway, let's move forward. Singles match, Joe Hendry taking on Zachary Wentz. This was kind of a match that I didn't have any interest in seeing, and it's nothing against the guys. It's just you knew who was going to win from the outset, and it didn't really seem like this was a feud or story here. But Joe Hendry goes on about his theme song being number 6 in the UK charts, and that's actually true. I couldn't believe that. Zachary went after Joe and interrupted him with a drop kick. It did feel like this match was thrown together for the sake of it, but look, it's okay, right? It's okay. They wanted to get Joe Hendry on the show. Tom Hannafin talked about somebody naming their child after Joe Hendry, which I found very surprising. I didn't think he would have been well known enough for someone to love him that much. I don't mean that as a knock. I'm just saying. Wentz fought off the standing ovation, dove through the ropes to the outside. He went for another dive, but Hendry caught him mid-air and hit a trust fall. So once again, Joe Hendry showing his strength, bitch. He hit the standing ovation, finally picked up the victory after a fairly predictable match. But that's okay sometimes, all right? As long as the whole card isn't full of it. Anyway, let's move forward again. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. Up next, Spitfire, Daddy Luna, Jody Threat taking on Alicia Edwards and Marsha Slamovich. Gotta say, man, I don't know what's going on with TNA and their tag team title division. This belt has been hot potatoed so freaking much. TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championship. Let's look at the history here. I'm telling you, this belt has been flying around all over the place. Like literally since, okay. Right. Okay, look, it hasn't been too bad, right? Let's go back to the beginning of 2002. So 2022. The Inspiration had lost the belts to the Influence on March 5th, 2022. Okay. So that was when the Inspiration bowed out of pro wrestling, I believe, for the time being. They held the belts from March till June to lose to Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie. The Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary lost them to Vexed, which was Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo in August, who then lost it to the Death Dolls in October, who then they had a little bit of a run. They lost them to the Coven in February, who held them until July 2023. So that's not too bad. MK Ultra became the champions then at Slammiversary. Then Decay beat them for the belts in January of 2024. So okay, that's cool, bro. That is cool. It's a nice little reign for MK Ultra, even though I wanted them to maybe hold it for like a year because I thought that they were doing a very good job. Anyway, a month later, they lost them back to MK Ultra, who then would lose them to Spitfire. Less than a month later, like 2 weeks later, I think, at Sacrifice. And now already Spitfire have dropped the belts just under 2 months later to Alicia Edwards and Marsha Slamovich. Potato, potato. Just seems the way that they're going with it at the moment. But look, is it a problem? I don't know. It's at least keeping things. It's keeping me on my toes as a reviewer anyway. Anyway, let's talk about the match. I really love the video going into this because Alicia Edwards is really so unlikable. Spitfire opened up the proceedings with some great tag work. But and of course, Lars Friedrichsen from Rancid was on commentary, which was a nice little addition to this. So the referee was distracted, allowing Alicia to hang Luna on the top rope. Luna clotheslined Alicia soon after that to create some separation. We got the tag to Jody Threat, who brought the fight to Alicia. Eventually, though, Alicia belted Jody in the back with a kendo stick during a whole bunch of drama. Jody then got hit with a gut-wrench powerbomb by Marsha, followed by a pedigree by Alicia, who gets the pinfall, and they become the new Knockouts Tag Team Champions. You know what? I think Alicia Edwards has done such a great job as a heel. She gets heat. She doesn't take the spotlight away from the guys in the system. She's earned something like this, I think. So I think Alicia is fantastic and hot. Let's move forward. AJ Francis and Rich Swann cut a promo about Rich going after the Digital Media Championship and being annoyed that Rich has to wrestle Jake something on this pay-per-view, replacing Hammerstone. Let's get to that matchup, which I thought was the best on the show. Rich Swann with AJ against Jake something. AJ and Rich work together to get Rich the advantage on Jake something. This is what I liked. AJ's constant interference was popping the shit out of me. Love that shoulder block he did on Jake something on the outside, showing off his former football skills. I have to say this about Rich Swann. For the first time since starting my coverage of TNA in 2021 with Bound for Glory, I'm finally interested in Rich Swann's character. I was never really that interested because I felt like they didn't really do anything with him that made him interesting. Now, what do you know? Somebody turns heel and they're interesting. Why does that happen so often? It happens so often. People get these rave reviews of turning heel, being heel. AJ Styles, rave reviews right now. Drew McIntyre, rave reviews. I'm sure there's a few more out there in wrestling. Anywho, and by that I mean like when they were baby faces, people thought they were very bland. Okay, let's get on with this. So yes, it was really cool the constant interference here. They're getting that group over by, I mean, not over, but like they're trying to get the group or the team over by having them, and their tactics work out, and they see success through the tactics. I could see them becoming tag champs at some point, but I think the systems will be having them for a while. Anywho, Dina came out after AJ Francis got caught one time too many interfering in the match. And he suggested it to be a tag match. And you know what? Why does Dina always cop so much shit? He never wins. He always gets made to look like he's fucking pathetic. as soon as that tag match started and they changed it to the tag match, he got choke slammed on the ring apron by AJ Francis, and that's all that he did. Then Rich struck at the right time and beat Jake with a 450 splash. I think this was my favorite match on the show. But poor Dana, man, like I don't know what the go is there with him and why he's booked like that, but it does make me laugh a little bit. Anyway, let's get to the next one here. Jonathan Gresham taking on Kushida. It was not exactly the match I was hoping for next, but I was hopeful that the new Jonathan Gresham can spark my interest, which he did. I thought the presentation was very cool with the mask. Obviously, people drawing a lot of comparisons to the Great Muta. And nothing against Kushida. He's very talented, but I'm generally not too enthused with him. It's just people are only as good as the creative written for them, and he hasn't really done a whole lot that's interested me. Usual back and forth. This is what you'd expect between these two. Nice technical battle, but this was designed to get over the new version of Jonathan Gresham. There were many moments during this match where Kushida was freaked out, confused, couldn't understand what it was that Gresham was doing, especially when Gresham started coughing and all that stuff. We finally found out that it was so he could spit out this black ink because he is the octopus. And what's their main what does an octopus do when they want to defend themselves? They spit out that black ink, which is it's weird, isn't it? How the fuck does that happen? But it's that animal is a very interesting animal, isn't it? But anyway, back to wrestling. He spat that black ink out of his mouth, and I like that he didn't use it as if it was like a mist, because then I think it would be too much like Muda. But it's like, yeah, I'm liking it. I was wondering why it wasn't illegal though. Uh, but something different. Gresham then won with, I think it's an octopus stretch to beat Kushida after he blinded him by rubbing the ink in his eyes. Anyway, let's move forward again. And yes, I'm aware that I'm talking rather quiet, but that's because it's early in the morning and it feels weird to be shouting and carrying on in my house at nearly 2 a.m. Okay. Con and Steph Delander, SDL, my home girl from Australia. I interviewed her at Starcast Down Under. Please check out that interview on our channel where you get to find out about her favorite things. You get to find out her favorite band, her favorite food, favorite alcoholic beverage, her favorite male body part, favorite curse word, favorite film, TV show. We get to find out her favorite things. We've got a few interviews up there from Starcast Down Under, so please check them out because, I flew all the way over there and I've been broke for the last few weeks because of that. And we still have 2 interviews from that experience to go up, but somebody wants to take forever to do it for whatever reason. Okay, so I thought this was going to be an interesting tag team match as they take on PCO and Jordan Grace here. I was hoping, again, look, I know that a lot of heels won on this show, and they did, but I was hoping that Con would actually pin PCO here. Give Con a big win. Why doesn't he get a big win? Like, if you want to get the big bastard over, then fucking get him a win. Anyway, and I mean over someone who's a name, okay? Anywho, I didn't like the beginning. I did not like Jordan tagging in to go toe to toe with Con. That's a stretch. No short woman is, I don't care how muscular she is. No one is going to go toe to toe with Con. The man is huge. Okay. The thing that annoyed me most was that Con had her on his shoulders and she kind of locked onto his arms like a vice grip. And he couldn't shake her off. And he was panicking, and I'm like, dude, if you wanted her off, why didn't you just give her a Samoan drop? It finally broke down at one point as PCO and Con went at it. Steph broke up the pin after a PCO salt. So that looked like it could have been the finish. PCO got a hot tag to Jordan and the ladies went at it. Eventually, Steph almost got chokeslammed by PCO, but got out of it by using her womanly ways. I like it. Trying to confuse the monster that is PCO. Eventually, PCO once again got close to dying on a flipping dive to the outside, which led to Jordan Grace hitting the Juggernaut driver and on Steph DeLanda and getting the pin. And I'm like, big whoop. Big whoop. Like, I know they've already had the title match, but if you wanted this angle to go any further, I don't know. Maybe they don't. Just seemed a little bit decisive once again, but I'm sure Steph is not signed to TNA. I'm sure she's just coming in for, a stint, just like Cardona does. Okay, so let's move forward. TNA X Division Championship on the line. Mustafa Ali, the champion, taking on Ace Austin. This is the first time these two have wrestled. There was a tornado DDT that Mustafa Ali hit on Ace Austin right near the beginning of the match. That was fucking mental. Like, he was facing away from him off the top rope to the outside, and he caught him and hit a spinning tornado DDT on Ace, who took it like a champion. That was probably the spot of the match. I'm not going to go on about the moves, okay? This is what the X Division is. It's about the moves, right? I'm not sitting here and going blow for blow. You probably saw the match. Austin fended off Ali's Secret Service. This is going to get old, okay? It's like every time the babyface is this close to winning, the Secret Service now get involved before they get all taken out. I did like seeing one of the Secret Service guys is getting laid the fuck out on the entrance ramp. Also another nice little spot. Ali tried to use the X Division title as a weapon. It got left in the corner of the ring after a wild and woolly affair. Ace Austin got knocked off the top rope, hit the back of his head on the belt that was on the ground. And then Ali hit the 450 splash to keep his reign going. So still X Division champion Mustafa Ali, who's doing a very good job as the champion. And again, I will tell you this. I was never really big on Mustafa Ali in his time in WWE. I didn't find him interesting at all. What do you know? Like, someone gives him a little bit of focus and a little bit of time to get his, this new character over. And what do you know? It's entertaining. I'm enjoying it. Good on you, bro. Like, you figured something out. A lot of people need to do stuff like that. Okay, let's move forward. 6-man tag team match for the main event of the evening here. Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy, that is, along with Speedball Mountain, which is the Ball of Speed, Mike Bailey, and Trent the Seventh, taking on The System. Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and Moose with Alicia Edwards at ringside. Let's see if the system works and we can trust in the system. Sometimes when I hear it, I just like, I can't wait till this group breaks up. They're doing a good job. I would have to say that, okay? Broken Matt Hardy being back on my screen is something I never thought I would see again. I have to admit, it felt like there was not a lot of heat on this match. It felt like the fans were sitting on their hands and not really getting into it until towards the end when they started doing some more risky shit. I'd love when Alicia Edwards gets involved. She gets heat very well, and it makes me laugh because she's such a little bitch in her skanky little dress. She's like bogan hot, if you know what a bogan is. Okay, look. 2 heats in this match. There was a heat on Speedball. There was a heat on Trent Seven before we got a hot tag to Matt. And I thought it would be interesting to see how he kept up with everybody after hearing for quite some time that Matt Hardy's a bit broken down. He's got some problems with his hip. He's 49 years old. People really, they rag on him a lot. But I didn't think he did too bad, to be honest here. I thought he did better than I was expecting. He hit a cutter out of the blue on Moose, which got a massive pop from the crowd. Like, that was very well timed and well done. They accentuated his strengths and hid his weaknesses. You have a guy like this on the roster. You have a guy like Rhino on the roster. They're not going to be the tippy top guys, but them being there and just working with them and going through a match with them, planning a match with them, Doing anything with them is going to improve you tenfold. It doesn't matter how slow they are in comparison to the way they used to be. They are veterans. You will learn from working with veterans. Um, I did like the triple twist of fate spot. The best spot of the match. Actually, this was spot of the show. Excuse me on that tornado DDT from Ali, but Matt hitting a leg drop off the top rope through Moose on a table on the outside. I thought he was going to go for a splash. Did not expect the leg drop. So props to Matt for going all out there for that. Really. That took him and Moose out of the match. I'm sure that will lead to Moose and Matt at the next pay-per-view. And soon after this, the system got the win, hitting the Boston knee party into the. I can't remember what Brian Myers' finish is called. You don't see Brian Myers hit a finisher very often and get a win over with it. But anyway, they got the victory, and I was surprised. But it's good that they're finally getting the system over and getting them some wins and showing that they've got it figured out, bro. You got the tag titles on Myers and Edwards. You got the world title on Moose. Now Alicia's got one half of the knockouts tag team titles. I think they're doing fine. My final thoughts, though, were, to be honest, I struggled through this show a little bit. I know I wasn't feeling too well, though. There were highlights. It just didn't get me overly excited, which is completely all right. It was serviceable. I just think, again, they need a bigger budget, bigger crowds, better TV deal, and they need somebody like Chris DeJoseph to write the show. I think he was a great writer during many heights of WWE and wrote for Lucha Underground, which always had rave reviews. I just think TNA need to be more TNA. Anyway, so I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10 for a pay-per-view, just middle of the ground. Nothing amazing, nothing terrible. It was all good. Let's get to some tweets now before we sail off into the sunset. Well, there hasn't been a sunset for quite some time over here. It's now 2:09 a.m. as I record this. But we're going to look at some tweets. We're going to respond to some tweets. Okay. At _yellowbone, I was told that Matt Hardy cannot move. Just goes to show that you could not believe everything you hear on the internet. Hashtag TNA Under Siege. And a guy called Bobby Roberts responded. At Sweet Bob. TBH guys ran to him for all those moves. Took him a long time to climb the ropes for the leg drop. Bobby, that was quite late into the match. He shouldn't be running or pouncing up to the top rope. Even if he can't do it, it makes sense that he would be going up the top rope a little slower because he's selling and it's late in the match and he's tired. What do you want from him? What do you want from him? Maybe the original tweet, maybe he should have said, look, he might have lost a step, but he didn't do too bad. But then, a whole bunch of people just fucking ragged on the _yellowbone for being chuffed that Matt Hardy did this leg drop off the top rope to the outside and thought he was impressive in the match. I don't know, Bobby. Let's see how you go at 49 years old and get you in the ring, bro. Okay. Jersey Joe Gosh. He said last year, last year Speedball was getting ready for the BOSJ. I don't even know what that is. Battle of what? I thought it was called Bowler. Battle of Los Angeles. Last year Speedball was getting ready for the BOSJ, and this year he's fucking around with old ass Matt Hardy. And there's a picture of Fred Savage looking a bit disappointed. He's main eventing TNA pay-per-view, bro. What's wrong with what do you people want? What do you want? Do you only want to watch young wrestlers? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Mike Bailey does not. Mike Bailey's chuffed to be able to be working with Matt Hardy. Trust me. Everyone's so judgmental. Oh, can't Matt Hardy wrestle the way he used to. Oh no. Get the fuck out of here. Clearly I'm tired. Okay, at ringside Anthony, sorry. There was a lot of people talking mad mess about this match all week. Tonight, it was one of the best matches, if not the best match on the card. TNA delivered once again. See? Good to see somebody being a little bit more positive. I like it. Thank you, Anthony. Space Cowboy at Mr. Peeps 7. The holy water cleansing the ring and Ash coming out with a garlic necklace all because of decay. It was a really nice touch that made me laugh. Hashtag TNA Under Siege. Again, I wanted to at least put out there that there are some people that are positive and are enjoying themselves. Very good, bro. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. At Alba Wrestling, his name is Alba. Alicia is so boring. Now I have to see her as champion. No, she's not. She's exciting. That's actually an incorrect statement, bro. I'm sorry. It's not, in my opinion. Alicia Edwards is fantastic, very entertaining. Thank you. Okay, let's get to our final tweet. Tweet. There's a response to a tweet. So I'm responding to the response to the tweet. Okay. At Misery Eater 101, and they're the one being positive here. That's got to be the best six-man tag match I've ever seen. Oh, absolutely incredible. Is anyone still doubting Matt Hardy? He took out the system single-handedly. Yes, he lost, but he held his own against them for like 5 minutes. Absolutely incredible. Hashtag TNA Under Siege. Boston Armin responded to Misery Eater, said, fun and good, but best ever? Nah, you didn't see Shield versus Evolution. Hashtag TNA Under Siege, hashtag WWA. Like, they said the best tag match I've ever seen, and that's what they said in the response. You're right, I didn't because I said the best I've ever seen. So clearly they're a newish fan who hasn't seen every match in history. Let people have their little fun. Let them tweet that they're happy about something. Let them say that they think that something's the best they've ever seen. There's a difference, right? There's a difference when someone says that's the best I've ever seen and said that was the best match ever. You know, there's a difference. They're not stating it as a fact. They're just saying in their opinion. We need to cut out the toxicity on Twitter and stop with the fucking bullshit. If someone's being positive and happy, leave them alone. Leave them alone, dude. And get on with your fucking life. It's funny, isn't it? Some people just can't help themselves. But anyway, there we have it, everyone. My TNA Under Siege review here for the Slam Society. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. I just don't want to be yelling and carrying on. I share a wall with my neighbor, so can't be too loud. So thank you again. Karlifornia, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can watch any of our Slam Society videos as they drop. So thank you again for joining me here. I'm tired, bro. I'll see you all down the road. Thank you.